um, elementary school science class. I remember the illustration they used for a symbiotic relationship in nature. It's a piranha in the Amazon River, mouth hanging open, patiently hovering with a million teeth, while all these little fish came in and cleaned its teeth, thereby getting their dinner. Everybody wins. Symbiotic relationship. So since 2007, I've had this very unusual side job as an artist working with pharmaceutical companies using my superpowers of acting and directing and teaching to, among other things, train pharmaceutical reps to be able to sell against various clinical objections from doctors or to overcome the challenges presented by certain personality types of doctors. Now, these would be fully improvised interactions, and I played hundreds of doctors and lots of specialists. And one thing I'm very grateful for today is the serendipity of how that work has made me well suited now to be able to advocate for myself in this very unusual situation. One thing that we would do for almost every doctor we play is understand method of action of drugs, understand disease states, and especially for new medication where we're going to be presented with data from a study, really learn how to think critically about drug trials and understand what's significant and meaningful and what represents real risk for patients and what represents really huge potential in changing people's lives. And to be able to have a real interaction, which is the whole idea, I just being me would really get into this stuff so that I could be very confident having a pretty high level science or medication discussion. And a very unusual thing that happened was starting in September, October 22, I was sitting in offices and it would come over me, oh shit, I've played you. I've played the stroke specialist. I've played the movement disorder Parkinson's specialist. I've played the MS specialist. I know why you're ordering these MRIs. I know what lesions you're looking for there. I know the differential diagnosis you're going through. I know what you're trying to rule out. I know I've heard of these drugs you're telling me could help me if it turns out I have XYZ. So the interaction, it was so meta. It was like 4 layers of meta and interest and excitement as an artist. Like, oh shit, I know this. This is great. And then horror, realizing over and over again every 10 seconds, wait, this is actually me. I'm not playing him, I'm me, and he's a real doctor. Fuck, this is not good and not interesting that I'm sitting here, but it was still interesting. I got really comfortable in being my own sort of driver digging into studies and drug trials. And for that, I am very, very grateful. It allows me, it's put me in a position to be a really good advocate for myself in this super strange situation. Serendipitous thing number two I am so grateful for is the doctor I have. Now, in the pharma world, this personality type would be called an early adopter because, from the farmer perspective, uh, a person in a university setting wants to be on the cutting edge, is aware of current research, is aware of new medications, new trials, looking for new solutions for patients who are not responding well to what's currently available. In pharma land, we call that an early adopter. In patient land, that I am unfortunately in, I call her the curious doctor. And it's PBA making me cry, but I do feel really emotional about it. But I I want to share, I think, the hottest thing I've ever seen in a doctor's office. We were talking about trials, okay? So I had found that there's this drug called ondansetron. That is the real name. It's a drug that improves dancing, of course. No, it's called ondansetron. It's used in oncology settings, been there for a long time. Antiemetic, anti-nausea drug. And it's very safe. And there's been a ton of testing in the last 20 years that it's got a psychoactive properties, and it's had incredible benefits in mood support and fatigue support in chronic unusual conditions in liver, and more recently tested in the neuro setting. So I failed on all the depressants that humans have, the antidepressants that humans have made. I failed on all of those. I had a neuropsychiatrist tell me, I actually don't think you have major depressive disorder. I think you have adjustment disorder and your situation sucks and this is horrible. And so you feel bad. And that's why these drugs aren't working. So I found this drug, ondansetron. Oh shit. Can I show you these trials? Can we talk about this? Yeah, send them to me, she says. So I go in and see her, and she's, she said, no, I got the information you sent on ondansetron, but I never got the information on Keppra that you were talking about, the trial on this drug called Keppra. Well, it also found in my group, one of my PLS groups, there was a trial, and I read it, and it seemed like a legit trial, a really small number of patients, but this drug called Keppra really helped manage a part of the spasticity symptom and improved balance. And a lot of people in my group have been helped by this. And I was sitting there with her. It's so high stakes to be able to have 45 minutes with this doctor. And I said, shit, I meant to send it to you. I'm so sorry. She goes, it's okay. Where was it done? And I said, Duke, 2009, Duke. I think there were 20 patients, 2000. Okay, Duke, I should know somebody. I should know some of the people who were, oh, here it is. This is the hottest thing I've ever seen. Right in front of me, right there. She's scanning through this trial going, oh, Dr. B, I know him. Oh, he's great. wow, 20 patients, that's actually a ton for PLS. In a year, it went for an entire year. All the people reported improved quality of life, improved this kind of spasticity, improved balance. These results are really great. Okay, let me see what dosing is. So we kept reaching the point where I thought another doctor would have said, let me take a look at this and I'll get back to you. She closed the loop right there and read all the way through the dosing, was like, okay, looks like they started at 500, got up to 1500 twice a day. Some people couldn't handle more than 1000, more than 500. You sort of end at one of these 3 doses, but everybody stayed on it. Everybody had improvement. Great, let's do it. That's happening. Ondansetron, we're going to try in a couple months once I've stabilized on this new drug that I'm trying now. Jury's still out, but definite improvement in balance. Took a long time to acclimate to the fatigue. And she said, I was listening to a podcast on the way here. She's listening to a neurology podcast. She's curious. And the guy is talking about this whole subset of rare conditions in a whole spectrum of things that are like a subset. And I've been tested for and was negative for the main disorder, but there is this whole spectrum, the subset, and there's a test for them now. It's a genetic test. Okay, so I want to have that done. You're going to have a blood draw when you leave here. We're going to send that away to Mayo. But in the meantime, I'm going to treat you as though you do have one of these things, sort of as a way to negatively rule out 2 whole branches of etiologies, an inflammation, an inflammatory condition, or an autoimmune condition, because testing for both of these things is fallible, and a negative test doesn't necessarily mean don't have it. So she's going to start treating me. 3 weeks later, I was getting infusions, and jury's still out. It's a 3-month process, but I know that she and I we can work together, and my 17 years of this strange job that I did, plus her being a curious doctor, is something that gives me hope. It's a direction for the extraordinary amount of potential energy that is stored up inside, because I'm not working on plays and I'm not running every day or every other day. This energy needs to go somewhere, and it has a direction, and I have hope, and I'm so grateful for my strange jobs playing hundreds of doctors, and for my one curious doctor.